Yay. Yeah, I'm a little whited out. Are the things whited out? That's always the question. He whited out. Yeah, he's a little whited out. We'll have to see what we can do about that. Kittens are locked away in the playroom because there's just too much chaos after last week. That was just insane. Let's see. I have to get. No, come on now. The computer is not cooperating here. I need to turn down the brightness. I need to turn off the volume on my laptop. And then I need to switch and get out of my personal account and get into this overstuffed house. I was in Steph's Steph sells stuff by the seashore because she's on already. And come on, where is my channel? It helps if I can see the chat on YouTube because you can't switch on StreamYard. Doesn't give you the difference between live chat and top chat, and I've noticed that that's a problem. Hello, Linda Barnum. Hello. Oh. So I have finally had a fairly decent clean bill of health, which is great. Now, is he still, he's still whited out. All right, I have to move a light. Let's see what we can do here. That's better, but still an issue. It's not the tilt the laptop. Well, that helps. That helps some. He's still a little too whited out. My son wants to go to Michigan next summer. He wants me to find out what state parks are where. I always feel like I'm sitting in the dark, but that's better. He's still a little whited out. Like you can't see the flesh tone, but that's a little better. Lighting has been a challenge in here ever since the kittens screwed up the floor lamp. And I have to see, my hair is like a hot mess, but it is what it is. So, is what it is today. Hello, Fiona. I know I haven't really had a sale in a month. Yeah, because July 14th, and I know, yes, I am behind on everything. I am feeling a lot better now. I'm doing a lot better now. We actually tried a new type of treatment for my back, and it hurt. It stretches a different way, and we think one of the nerves is unpinched. Not the big problem one, but the little problem one. Fingers crossed. And I came back from Boy Scout summer camp feeling like I wasn't restful. You know, that week just wasn't as restful for me as it usually is for a lot of reasons. But one in particular, because no matter where I went, he'd find me to talk to me. And I have that problem here. But there wasn't anywhere at that camp, like along the lakefront, there were no benches. There was nowhere to sit. With the bears there was no place to go where you could just be away from everybody and just sit and enjoy nature and read. And because these bears were sometimes seen in the day, not just at night. So Mike and I went away earlier this week to if you follow me on Instagram, you'd have seen a picture or two. He decided that summer camp was not enough. I needed a couple of days of peace. And so that's what we did. We also, double motive here. In May, the Boy Scouts are going to be going up for a tubing trip on the Lehigh River in Pennsylvania. But where can they stay? There are 2 state parks nearby, but the closest one, you know, why don't we go for 2 nights and check it out, which we did. Well, it's a good thing we did, because the first one that's closest to the river, to where they'll go whitewater rafting, does not have tent sites. They have 6 cabins with the most god-awful beds I've ever slept on. However, the park is great. It's Tuskegee, not Tuskegee, Tocahontas. There's a river. Look, now my brain is cramping. Tuscaloosa River, at Tuscarora River. So it's Tuscarora State Park. And the park is fantastic. The lake is fantastic. There are 3 yurts, which are these big round, strange tent kind of things. Now they hold more people. They can hold, I think, up to 8 people. And then they have 6 little cabins. And the little cabins have bunk beds in them. Of those bunk beds, one is a full-size bed, and the others are all twin-size beds. But my bed literally was a metal spring framework with a piece of what felt like thick quilt batting, you know, about that thick, over top of that, and the whole thing wrapped in a those giant bags you can put over mattresses. Because I literally could put my hand on the side and I could feel no fabric, nothing except that flimsy cover between my hand and the metal framework springs. Yeah. So so it was the first night was rough. It was so rough to sleep. Mike, however, always has a backup. He had just bought himself a backpacking air mattress, and he brought it to test it out because he figured, you know, just maybe I might need it. And so the next night I definitely got much better sleep. So that was an experience. But to be able to just sit there, it was so funny because he's finally started to read a lot more. Nowhere near like I do, but he reads more than he had. And so the first day there, it was rainy, it was overcast, it drizzled off and on, then there was a downpour. So it was like that off and on all day. And so Monday, we just sat there in our camp chairs on the little porch area. And it's a beautiful view because you're just facing all the trees. And here and there, peeking between the branches, you could see the lake. And we just sat there and read the whole day. Talked a little bit now and then, but for the most part, you know, we were so quiet sitting there reading that we had this chipmunk come right up onto the porch and just sit there and watch us. It had no fear because we were quiet. So, but it did us a world of good. I also got to go somewhere. He took me out on the second day we were there. He took me out. So he said, you know, you could see somewhere you haven't been before. He found this town. Now, we were near Jim Thorpe, PA, which there's a Jim Thorpe historic part of town. But he found this bookstore on the way to it that was phenomenal. And if I'd have had the money, I probably would have wiped out half of their collectibles section. I did get a book on California pottery, which is still upstairs. I also got a Warman's McCoy pottery book. Now, I have different books on McCoy. So I'm going to compare and see if this is a keeper or not. I love McCoy planters. I have a small collection of McCoy planters and some vases, but they're all ones that are solid colors. Most of them yellow, some of them white. So those are the ones that I tend to gravitate toward. Yeah, I actually have makeup on tonight. Partly because I wanted to hide the sunburn on my cheeks. So there's actual foundation on my face, which I never use because it's so hard to find one that works for how pale I am. So yeah, I actually have makeup on, you know, I actually have eyebrows because I have makeup on. The lipstick is always the most noticeable because my skin is so pale, and this is a red. This is a darker. This is probably the darkest red I have. And so it really, really shows up and make a difference. Oh, Calypso. Yeah, I don't think I did this for Boy Scout summer camp. So it was teal. And right now I've got everything up in a ponytail in the back. And so, yeah, I did this just to mess with the boys. It was brighter. Now it's like, you know, teal is the problem with teal is in your hair, it'll eventually start turning green. And I don't like it when it's green. So I figured I'd come on tonight, and I want to get back into the rotation of a sale every other week. So this would be the first one, but with all the stuff that happened to having to clean up, and so we came back, and my brother hadn't cleaned the litter box for the kittens the whole 3 days we were gone. I was just no. And from judging from the judging from how many canned cat foods were left, I don't know that he fed them that often either, other than dry food. Dry food is way down. So, hi, Iris. But yeah, I've been offline for a while. I kept having the end of June, I kept having to cancel my lives into the beginning of August because I was starting to have more problems with my spine. So I'm back. Oh, the chair just sank a little bit. So I'm back for now. We'll see how it goes. So far, everything's good. You know, and then because the back acted up, all those medical tests I needed to have, I still haven't had them. I haven't had the MRI of my knee, the things for the hernias. I ended up having to cancel them because the back had me back in bed again. So, but I'm back now, and so far things are going well with the back. We're going to keep our fingers crossed and pray for that stay that way. I have just an odd mix of stuff tonight. I wanted to have just a short little sale. I don't have many items tonight, and I haven't really. Hi, Proud American. Calypso, my back is better now. We think we got the lesser problematic nerve unpinched because now I can look, I can turn this way, no pain. I can actually turn to the right now with no pain. Now to the left, that's the one that caused all the screaming. And I had slightly pinched that again mid-June. And that caused some real problems because it put me back to being flat on my back. That was no fun. So we still have to be careful of that one, partly because they said what they figure is that the nerve had been pinched so badly. Nerves have a sheath over them, and they feel the sheath is damaged, which is why it felt so raw for so long. And that takes a long time. Nerves take a long time to heal anyway. So I was poking around. You know, you got to unpack, you got to do the laundry, you got to clean up the messes the cats made because they were bored and they were completely unsupervised for the most part for 3 days. So next time I will have to find a cat sitter. I have not, okay. For all of y'all who did not see the chaos that was last week's live, if you want to see the kittens, go watch that live. You'll see them. I think you'll see all 5 of them. You'll also see all the nuts, absolute nut job chaos that they caused. They knocked my light over. They almost knocked the laptop off the desk. They unplugged the power strip to everything. At one point, everything goes dark. It's because they literally unplugged it from the wall. It was a mess. So they are locked in the playroom. They are locked away right now, except for Arwen, who is over there laying on top of the tote that's full of stuff that I need to get onto Etsy. And she's just sleeping. She's being a sweetheart. She still hasn't been adopted. Seriously, any of y'all that are within so much hours drive of me, I will meet you halfway if you want a kitten. I cannot afford to feed this many cats. And forgotten cats still, they still aren't doing intake. Now, when I first got them months ago, they had to stop doing intake because they had 602 cats and kittens in their system. And they have been having adoption events at every PetSmart in the area and the Petco's. And they still have over 400 cats in their system. So they are not yet willing to take Arwen and Aragorn. We're up in the air about Frodo. Frodo has really latched onto my brother Gary. And Gary's, Mike and I have our own lives that are not always together. We have stuff we're both off doing different things. So it does kind of leave Gary by himself. And I have not seen an animal in a long time latch on to Gary. And Frodo has. So we may be keeping Frodo, who's the other smaller one. He's the one I had to bottle feed. So, but that still leaves us Arwen and Aragorn, 2 gray ones, to find homes for. So, and I've had, since last week, I had another adoption fall through for Frodo, actually, because the kids were happy, the parents were happy, the grandmother walked in, saw a black cat, and all hell broke loose. She was just, I won't set foot in this house. You have a black cat. Oh my God. I used to beg for a black cat as a kid because my dad's mother would have been the same way. Mom would never let me have one. I used to beg for one just to keep Granny out of the house. So, oh, Calypso, you have it in your neck? Oh, you poor darling. Mine is, it's below the small of my back by about 3 inches. Now, add to that, I fell out of a tree as a kid and I damaged the muscles in the small of my back. So that tends to get tired pretty easily. But yes, cat racism, absolutely. It's because of the stigma that goes back to the witch trials, which I just read a book called In Defense of Witches. And it does show a lot about how the persecution of women and looking down at women really started with the witch trials. And we tend to think of the witch trials as medieval, but that's not when that happened. It happened during the Renaissance, the supposed age of enlightenment. That's when they started doing these witch hunts and going after women who were the healers, because they had started actually having medical schools that paid no attention to actual herbal stuff that worked. But it shows an interesting, it gives you this history, and then it shows this interesting parallels to things that are going on today. Keep in mind, this was written, the book is brand new, In Defense of Witches. Mola Challet, I think is her name. And it was only printed to be, I think the end of last year is when it came out, or the very beginning of this year, but it was before all the things with Roe v. Wade. And it's frightening how accurate her view was of what was going to happen. So, oh yeah, I love black cats. I like cats, period. But 5 kittens that are 15 weeks old at one time with a cat that's 9 years old who hates their guts. Oh, I shouldn't say she hates them. She actually was in the room with me today. I took a nap because I was up at 8 o'clock in the morning, and there's no way I can last from 8 to doing us live at 11. And the doctor actually came in, and she wouldn't lay on the bed with me because I woke up and I had kittens all over me and around me. And she was none too happy about that. But she just laid down on the back, and I fell asleep in Michael's room. She was tolerant. She also, earlier that day, had actually come out to the kitchen to eat at the same time that I fed them their lunch, and came out and went over and actually used the litter box, which technically is hers, without having any hissing, fighting. There was a little bit of hissing, grumbling, like cats that go, but yeah, so that's progress. That is definite progress, and I'll take it. So while I was looking for stuff today, I went through a drawer that still had some old things from my parents in it. I found a few things. This is something that was from out of the boxes of books. Oh yeah, Binks is the cat in Hocus Pocus. I've had so many people ask me, like with the doctor, they're like, "Oh, it's a black cat. Why didn't you name it? Why didn't you name it Salem?" And I'm like, "Well, first off, that's way too common and too standard." And that whole litter was named for Doctor Who characters. So I don't know what the cats did, but I don't have the pillow for behind my back anymore. This last batch, Mike named them, and they're all Lord of the Rings. So the two black ones are Frodo and Gimli. Frodo because he was the smallest, and Gimli has turned out to be well named because he's the stockiest and biggest one of them so far. Oh, you're welcome, Nora. I am currently reading a geology book from 1892. And it was written by a professor of geology at University of Pennsylvania. And I had to laugh because he's got all these old black and white pictures in there, and they're from all around my area that he's using as examples. And I'm laughing because I'm looking at some of these going, that no longer exists. That no longer exists. Oh, that quarry's been closed. That's where they do the scuba diving. That might still be. So it'll be fun. That one I'm going to have to put up on eBay because I think there'll be people just for the history of around the Philadelphia area, because that's all what his examples are from, to have that history, to see the pictures and see what's changed. But that's one from off my shelves. And I finished a Louisa May Alcott while I was away. There's a series she did. They're called Aunt Joe's Scrap Bag. And there are, I think, 6 of them. But I only have 2, 4, and 5. I don't have all 6 yet. I've yet to find all 6. But the one I took with me is the one that has a story in it called Shawl Straps. Now, I had to learn what a shawl strap was. So back in the 1800s, if you were going to pack light to go somewhere, shawls were huge back then because the big full skirts, and it would be big enough to wrap completely around you and hang down the back. And shawl straps were a leather strap that was specifically made with a loop at each end and then a piece that went across. And there's little buckles on these loops. So you would put what clothes you were going to need. Now, back then, you didn't change clothes every day. So you didn't need to take 2 full dresses. You might take, different jacket to go with the different skirt, whatever. But you folded all that up in this massive shawl, and then that became your luggage, and you tied it with the straps, and then you had a handle. And so it's for girls who are traveling through different countries, and they go to Brittany, which I'm going to have to figure out where that actually was. I kind of think I'm not sure where that one was. They go through Brittany, they go through France, they go through Italy, and then they're in London. And so it was great. I love Louisa May Alcott. I collect her books. I'm like I said, I'm still looking for all of those to get all of those Aunt Joe's scrap bag books because I don't have all of them. Matter of fact, do I have it? I do have it here. So I have this one. Now this is okay. This is number 2. Now this little thing, they're all only about this big, but this one, the original copyright is 1872, but this one was printed in 1882 by the Roberts brothers. So this one, and there's even some images inside, but the tissue paper is still in there to protect them, to illustrate some of it. This one is possibly a second edition. So it's got some issues there. So I may be selling that one because turns out I have 3 copies of these. But one of them I have to double check because one of them I think is a first edition, which would be awesome because it would help pay for the roof. I mean, it's not as good as if you got a first edition Little Women. And remember, if you're ever looking for a first edition Little Women originally was 2 volumes. 2 volumes. Nobody thinks of that, but the very first printing of Little Women was a 2-volume book. So you're looking for 2 books. So, all right, let's have some fun with this stuff. Now, this is a little shelf. This was something that was packed away in the boxes of books. This little thing unscrews, but it's on there nice and tight. And there's little tiny hook pieces here hanging on the wall with just little nails. So it's just a little shelf, but it's got this neat little decoration. I found it in this box, but what's written on the bottom of this box is not in English. And it's not in French or Spanish. So I don't know what it says. So we're going to start this little shelf. So everything tonight will be offer-ups. I've only got, I think, 8 or 10 things. But for the little shelf, we're going to start this. It's highly lacquered. It doesn't have anything that says maker. We're going to start this at $8. It's in really nice, good quality little thing. I have to get to my keyboard, so I got to back up. Why is my chair sinking? Oh. The cat's knocked the box over, so the lever for the chair is actually hitting something. And every time it bumps it, I sink a little more. Okay, let's see here. Okay. Black shelf. Let's start this. Let's start it at $7. And there's not a mark or a scratch on this. And even whatever you would have the display on it, it has a little raised pedestal area. So it definitely was made to be something nice to have on there. Yeah, it kind of gave me that, like, it looks almost like the Russian lacquer stuff. But I don't know if it is or not because there's nothing to tell me. It is, come on, it's 5 inches across, 3 inches deep, and then to the bottom of the ball is 3 inches as well. It's such a unique little thing. And if you really had something really cool that you wanted a nice way to display it. And the box, I don't know if this is the original box or not, but it's definitely an older box. And I love that little delicate rose that's on there and the little gold lines here and here. And then, of course, has this little gold finial piece at the bottom. You see there's actually a little gold piece around the edge here. The light's not quite, there we go. So even the piece around this is gold. Now the ball is metal. And this piece, this whole piece, this square piece is metal. Actually, if you look at the sides, you could see that even this little gold piece in the front, that's a piece of metal as well. So is this one. So it's not like that's just painted on. It's incredibly well made to have little gold metal inserts. But it definitely, I mean, I'm not sure what it's made of. The real weight seems to be from the metal inserts, but just a lovely little piece. And honestly, if you had, you know, he's a little small for it, but you had something with some height, like a little figurine that you really wanted to show off, that would be a good thing for that. I see Fiona at 7. Any other interest? No other interest, then we will start to call it. And it will come in the box I found it in. You might be able to, if anybody can decipher what's on there. The only word I recognize is fleurs, F-L-E-U-R-S, which would be flower, but that's spelling is used in a couple different languages. So we're going to have going once. And we're at 7 with Fiona. If anyone else is interested, speak now or forever hold your peace. We're going twice. And anybody getting it in there? We're getting it in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I have that stuck in my head. That used to be a thing from Sesame Street or maybe from the Electric Factory. Okay, sold. Sold for 7 to Fiona. Right. Now let's do, put this over here. Let's do a little bit of this ephemera, because I have some unusual bits of ephemera. Now, I'm not quite sure why my mother saved this. It's pinned together. You see this? You seeing this? Those are straight pins. My mother was crazy. But look at that outfit. And the outfits, oh man. And none of the pages had a date. That's the part that bums me. It doesn't say, I don't know if this was the original cover. It doesn't feel like a cover. But I suspect she took it out of another magazine. But whatever she did, it's got, now this is a bonus. This is instructions on how to make that lace. Handwritten instructions on making that lace, crocheting that little tiny lace. I don't know how to crochet, so we have this outfit. I mean, how mid-century modern is this? Look at that wall hanging. And it has 2 more for the beach. Okay, now, I know you're going to laugh. I know you're going to laugh. So the dress is fine, but what is she wearing? What is with that? What is with that bathing suit? I mean, put wings on the back. Is she meant to be Peter Pan or a fairy? Apron there. That one just had me cracking up because I was like, what are they doing there? What is she wearing? There's decorator sweaters, which if you can do this kind of stuff, you've got some mad skills. So the one has medallions around it, and the other has what looked like Hogwarts crest for the different houses. But all the instructions are there for these things. Let's see if there's another one. There's queries about quilts, but there's also this one, straight piece sewing. And she's talking about, now I thought it was about making that rug, which would make a great latch hook rug, but it's about sewing the nightgown. That is a lot of yardage. That is a lot of yardage. So since this is just, odd pages. Oh, here's more bathing suit fun. Now I was laughing because I saw something that showed a bathing suit that was kind of close to this red one, in that they weren't like the bikini bottoms, they were the more covered up bottoms like from the 50s, and that was new for this year, which really surprised me because it was like, you're seeing a lot of like 80s stuff come back, but you're starting to see some really retro stuff, really vintage 50s styles showing up again. So for the needlework, I mean, it is literally, it's just pages. So this is just going to be $4, and you're getting that handwritten thing on the lace in with it. So it's just $4 for this because it's got very cool patterns in it. It's $4. It's, if I can get these cards to separate, $4, number 71. $4, number 71. I do love that it has all the instructions with all the measurements for all the different stuff. Nora Shea. Nora, there it is. That's my email right there. You would have to email me your name, your shipping address, and let me know your PayPal email, because I do invoice through PayPal. And I am without child this weekend, so I just have Cats and Gary to deal with because it's his birthday on the 28th, and he'll be going away to the Ren Fair on Saturday. So I will have a chance to, I want to get back on that. That was something that we did before we left too, was we actually made out a schedule for me and started, because he got his degree in business administration, and I've been pestering him, help me. Help your ADD perimenopausal old lady to figure this out. And so he actually created a schedule for me, and we're going to work on that so that I keep on that, so that I get caught up on all the shipping, that I keep a set, tight schedule for getting things out in a timely manner. There's also built into that schedule is working on the the Black Hole Challenge room so that I can get an office space instead of trying to do it all down here in the living room. So he's got it all written out for me in a big notebook so that you're going to get me better on track, because I have noticed that I am flightier than usual. And I don't know if it's from having COVID when it first happened, or if it's also could be because I've had to be on painkillers for so long. They can residual effects to your, but apparently also when you go through perimenopause or even menopause, I'm Gen X. I'm from the 1965 here, when they never tested you for ADHD. And my kid laughs at me, and he's always told me, because he's diagnosed with it, that I had all the earmarks. Well, they are showing up something fierce, because I can't keep straight and on track unless I have a set list to go through. You guys know this because you've heard the way I talk during live sales. It's like, oh, look, squirrel, you know. Now, are there any Pyrex collectors out there? Because I found this. Why my mother kept this in the drawer, I have no idea, unless because there's recipes in the back. Now, I may or may not still have the original dish this came from, but it's the label that would have come with it for a Pyrex 3-quart size baking dish. Look at that. Now, if you collect Pyrex, this would be pretty cool to frame and have hanging up next to your Pyrex collection. The only flaw is on the back. You could see right here where some of the paper came up. That is probably where it was stuck to the Pyrex piece. Now I'm looking for where'd the date go? It says litho, so this is a lithograph. It has 12/10/48. So this is most likely from 1948, which means they would have bought it not long after they were married, because they got married in 47 or 48, 47, I think. So the recipes on the back are fluffy spice cake, salmon noodle bake, and orange breakfast rolls. Now it has been folded in half, so there is a little bit of a crease there, but it's not really worn. So when it's flat, you see, you can't really see the line. It was also folded this way at least once. The only flaw to the front is there's a number 98 in pencil right there. So, this is an offer up because I don't know if there are Pyrex collectors out there. I could not find, I looked on eBay and there are labels of Pyrex stuff on sale on eBay. However, nothing is this old or this big. So I didn't know. And I thought, well, I'd give you guys a chance for it first. So I'm going to do it as an offer up with the starting price. I'm going to start it for half of what I would start it on eBay for. So I'm going to start it at $4. If there's anybody out there that's a Pyrex collector, but if it doesn't, if everybody thinks I should pass, you could just put pass in there, and then I will put that up on eBay. I actually did a little work while I was away. I couldn't do much because there was no cell phone reception at the cabin. But when Michael went hiking, I stayed up at the visitor center where there was reception, and I managed to get a couple postcards listed onto my eBay store. So that's a start. Get a little more things on there. So I see no takers for the vintage Pyrex. If you're watching this on the replay, if no one takes that tonight, that will be going into my eBay store, which is also this overstuffed. My eBay, my Etsy, they're all they're all this overstuffed house. Oh, Lois, hello. So we have it at 4. Lois, do you collect Pyrex? Or are you making this as a gift for somebody who does? It's just such a unique find. And another reason I bring it to you guys is because sometimes it is the most unusual stuff that I have sold over the years on eBay that has gotten me surprising prices. I mean, I once sold a bar of soap and got $26. I'm not kidding. It was ivory soap. It was still in the original wax paper label. It was family size bar. Now, a family size bar was this big because it was scored in 2 different places because you were expected to break it and break it into thirds. As you used it, you used, just 1/3 of it. And I got, I think, $26 for that thing. It's amazing what you could sell. So Lois is at 4. Oh yeah, it would make a great kitchen sign. I really would be cool to frame it and have it in the kitchen. Because a lot of the ones I saw online are just like little round ones that would have been in the bottom of a bowl or over, like modern times they put them over the lid and they have a little hole in the center. But this one, this is a big one. Because this one, how big is this? Hello, Mahindran. Did I say that right? So this is 12 inches wide. And little over 7 1/4. But still, that would be really cool to frame in a kitchen. So, I don't see any other takers, so we're going to go going once. And we're going to have it going twice. And if nobody else wants to hop in, then we're going to have it sold. Whoops, hit the wrong button. There we go, sold. There you go, Lois. Thank you very much. I found something else in there, which will just be, this will be a straight price. It's Pennsylvania Dutch Country, all in full color. It has different things that are in Pennsylvania. It has a map in the back, but it is a souvenir picture book. Where is the date? Published and distributed from Mount Joy, PA. We not have a date? Well, bummer, no date. But I can tell you, if this was in there, because they did Pennsylvania before I was old enough to really remember. So this has got to be from the 60s. Is there anything to give me a clue? Are there any people? Oh yeah, it's definitely the 60s. Where do you see the picture of the International Airport? Entrance to Delaware Valley's Jet Age headquarters, providing both jet and conventional airliner service. One of the major terminal airports of the world, just 20 minutes from Center City. I think, what was the name of it? Wasn't JFK. That was not it. But look at the building. Look at the cars. See if I can do it without the glare. Can you see those cars with those fins? Look at the fins. I love those cars. Hi, Val. And looking at that airliner, the way the engines are, That's the early Boeings, which is also right up in Philly. The Schuylkill Expressway doesn't look like that anymore. Has Betsy Ross House. It has. So we start off showing you some of the things from out in Lancaster County. And then it has more Lancaster County. But it has a fair bit about things in Philadelphia. Betsy Ross House is there. That's that picture at the bottom is Boathouse Row, which looks fabulous because they have the buildings outlined, so it's all lit up at night. Then they have Gettysburg, which is the big battle, one of the big battlefields of the Civil War. Which one is this one? Washington's headquarters in Valley Forge. Oh, this still says Valley Forge State Park. It's not a state park anymore. It's all federal now. It's a national park now. It has some of the different statues that are there and get around the Gettysburg area. But then you have things like Lincoln Caverns, which I'll tell you right now, this is no longer the entrance. That's no longer the entrance to Lincoln Caverns because we went there for scouts. That entrance, that huge wooden door, is on the other side of the road from the parking lot. The parking lot used to be across the street. So you'd have to cross this small highway to get to that door. So now you actually go a little further down the road and they have another entrance to the cave. You'll see those doors from the inside when you go through Lincoln Caverns, but now there's a much safer spot where the parking lot's on the same side of the road, which would be oh so helpful. But let's see, it also goes to Pittsburgh, Carnegie Institute, Carnegie Library in Pittsburgh, the Stephen Foster Memorial. Yeah, it's funny. It shows Philadelphia, Lancaster County, Pittsburgh, and nothing in between. It's a big state. There's a lot of cool stuff in between. So, for the little souvenir book, this will be $4 if you're interested in that. It's $4 number 10. $4 number 10 for the Pennsylvania little souvenir book that says this is Dutch country. Honestly, it should say Deutsch because they're German. $4 number 10 if anyone's interested in that. Let's take a break from the ephemera. I've got a little more ephemera, but I also have this guy who I found on our trip because we did stop at one Goodwill on the way home and I found this. Now he is Napco wear. He does have, oh, it's so faint. I don't think you're going to be able to see it. So this is the silver one that says National Potteries, but it's very faint. Down here, this little blue that you can kind of see, it's not showing up on my camera, but you can when you're looking at it. It does say Napco wear, and it has a number. I don't have enough light in here. The way I've had to do the lighting, I don't have any direct light down on me to read what the number is. But I can see Napco wear, the little trademark mark, and I tilt it right. C-7119 is his Napco code number. C-7119. And isn't he adorable? Now, he's got he is got a lovely pale skin tone, but he's got little rosy cheeks. These are pink flowers. Everything pink seems to be washing out a little bit. He does not have a shirt on. He's bare-chested under that jacket, which I thought was kind of funny. But he is beautiful. There's no chips. There's no cracks to him. His color's good all the way around. And he's just a sweet little piece. Really cute for spring. Do we have any Napco collectors tonight? Someday, I have very few pieces of Napco. I have a Valentine's one, my only vintage Valentine thing. Somewhere they have to have made Halloween Napco wear. Love to find out if they do. So, Napco boy is going to start. He's going to start at $8 for this wonderful Napco figurine. I love the fact that he's got flowers, you know, in the little wheelbarrow. He's got sunflowers. This just said summer more to me than spring because he's got the sunflowers, you know, and we're still into the tail end of summer. Though being north of here, I was just starting to see some trees get little bit of color starting to show. Not much, but soon. But he's just so cute. Now, where's my thing and how tall he is? So he's 5 inches tall, 3.5 wide, 2 inches deep. Absolutely adorable. Yeah, he's another one that, you know, considering he's Napco, I would probably put him into my eBay store if he doesn't sell tonight. So no one's interested in our little boy. That's okay. I am well aware of the fact that I don't have the amount of people at my sales that I used to because I've had so much go wrong with the spine. And so we're going to rebuild the channel as we go forward this year. Because I also know Steph sells stuff at the seashore, started doing stuff, starting her sales at 10:30, sometimes at 10. So okay, we're gonna put pass on that one. But you know, we're also in that point in time where everybody's not spending because we all are aware of the fact that we're getting near the end of the year. You're going to have your property taxes to deal with. You're going to have, if you got kids, you got school stuff, supplies to pay for. People are away on vacation because they're getting that in because it's the last couple of weeks of August. And then you start thinking about Christmas. So you're in that weird area because even eBay, even online selling, when you get to August and the first 2 weeks of September has always kind of flatlined for me. Even back, you know, when we had a better economy like 8 years ago, 10 years ago, it still was that way. I do have this lovely little planter, 2 fun little dogs. It is a little planter. It has USA 611 and a number 14. Now the 14 you can clearly see, but the USA is incised right across here. So I don't think the camera is going to be able to quite pick that up. So I don't know who the maker is, but it really is an adorable little planter. Planters are fun to hold your pencils, your pens, paintbrushes. small little tools. They're this way. They're really good for that. So we're going to have this little planter, the dog planter is going to be $8 and is going to be, go, number 18. $8, number 18 for the little dog planter. Oh, Iris, yours is between March and May. Mine used to be like that last quarter, and then, yeah, and then in like February through end of April, because a lot of the country's still. Okay, I see you, Val M, but a lot of the country people are still stuck in their houses from snow. All right, Val, thank you. Oh, I just got a notice Vintage Vinny just put up a brand new thrift store he found. I'll be watching that video later. So, but yeah, this is another thing that we found at the Goodwill that was out in the middle of nowhere. Honestly, I think I find better stuff. I found such cool stuff out there, which I rarely find anything local here, but I think that's because I'm in too urban an area. If you have Instagram, go find my Instagram and you will see what I found. I found two, not one, two of the Jim Beam I Dream of Jeannie bottle, but these are not the big ones. These are the smaller ones with the handle. But I found two of them, a red one and a blue one. Vintage Vinny told me, he said, you don't find the red one. You usually find just the blue one. And the Holy Grail apparently is they made one in green. And if you find the full size one without the handle, that is what they used for I Dream of Jeannie for the TV show. Oh yeah, then that one can be $800 or $900 sold comp. I found for that on eBay for one of the big ones in green. Oh yeah, 2020, everybody was stuck at home. It was the best year for all of us. It was a great year. And then in 2021, I hurt myself. I started the channel and was doing great. And then, you know, and I hurt myself. Got backlogged though. All right, so Val for that. I have this book. Now you can see it's got some, this is the problem with these old Whitman books. Like this, you can see it here. The coating, that shiny layer, starts to peel. There's a little wear here. But boy, when they did books for TV shows, the covers are fantastic because even the back cover will have artwork. And then it goes then you have Lassie. So I have this wonderful Whitman Lassie book. Now, it hasn't split in the front or in the back because a lot of times this is the weak point. No pages are loose. There are some little pictures in it, not many. There's our title page, because the title page usually also has an illustration. But you can see that it does have a name written in at the top. Beth Vodes, and then an address. But this is Lassie Forbidden Valley from 1959. This is an offer up. This is going to start at $8 for the Lassie book. Get to my little Started at $8. I kind of like the back because you could have the back showing and have like little summertime things in front of it because that's pretty cool. And then, but if you're a fan of Lassie, how cool is that picture? And the front is beautiful. There's no marks to it. It hasn't faded in its coloring. Whitman did a lot of books for different TV shows. And this one happens to be for Lassie. The story is called Forbidden Valley. I don't know if they did more than one for Lassie. This is the authorized edition featuring characters from the Lassie television program. Now, I remember Lassie in reruns. I didn't come along until 1965. Who remembers the Lassie TV program? So I don't see any takers for Lassie. So I think we're going to pass on Lassie. And we've just got 2 more things to do. I have this little thing. It is Souvenir Views of Thousand Islands, New York. Now, these are all little miniature cards that are all linen. If you've ever heard a term of a linen postcard, it's because the paper they use is actually linen paper. And while the back may be smooth, the front, you'll actually see little lines in it when you look at it closely because it is printed on linen and then that's adhered to a cardstock on the back. So all of these are linen papered lithographs. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I didn't make sure there were all 20 in here yet. 7, 8, 12, 13, 17. Or are they sticking together? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, 9. 14, 15, 16, 17. Yep. Now, if you do miniature work like this one, honestly, this is the kind of thing that when I was doing stuff before I got Michael, I used to take little things like this and I would make little frames for them and I would sell them as dollhouse artwork because you put a little frame around that and it would be a big painting for a dollhouse. But some people want that. They want that statement painting in their dollhouse room or whatever miniature little display they're doing. And some of these are fantastic for that because they've just got these great scenes. Now that last one showed Hopewell Hall. This one just shows the international rift dividing line between the United States and Canada, but it's such a great scenic shot. This other one shows the Pullman Estate, which I don't believe still exists, but it looks like a castle. That would make another great little, miniature display. Or if you do junk journaling, there's one of the lighthouses from up there. That is Rock Island Lighthouse. But they would make really cool little things for your junk journaling or for a miniatures display. But it was just tucked in a drawer upstairs. Some of the stuff I found was old Scout stuff, so that'll be staying. But I saw this and thought, well, you know what? Somebody might like this. I know what I'll do with it if it stays, but it's going to be a long while. I need to have an office first. So the souvenir Thousand Islands lithograph little miniature cards is going to be $5. $5 number 17. $5 number 17. Now keep in mind it says 20, but there's only 17 cards actually. So 17 cards. So it would be $5. Okay. Now, this last thing is a batch of vintage cards. Now, this is going to be an offer up. So I do that whenever I have these 1950s, 1940s greeting cards. These are all florals. And there's 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's 11 of them. So there's 11 vintage florals. We're going to start this. We'll start this at 6. Okay, so let me put this in here. Whoops, not a comma. It's not 6,000. So, as I said, there are 11 cards. Now, this one is probably the most modern, but you can see that each little window in there has a flower. Now, when you open the card up, you can see that they're all on this sheet, but you also get that you could play with, because if you wanted to do something junk journaling where you have a window, you've got your own little piece there. Now that's the most recent one. So you get that one. This one is just the back. This is thrown in gratis, but look at that lovely floral image. That's a newer one. Now they start getting older. This one is a beautiful fold out of different colored wisterias hanging down. They get older as we go along, because now you're looking into the, I'd say this one's probably 1950s from Hallmark. It has the lovely flowers inside. This Get Well Wish one has some very tiny little flowers, which could be useful. Now we're getting into the 40s and maybe early 50s. This one has the bouquet. Now that same bouquet is on the inside. I like the back because I like the little image. They actually decorated their image on the back. And it's a Salmon Masterpiece Greeting. This is an early Hallmark. Oh, this one has a copyright on it. 19 tiny something. This one actually has a copyright on it of 1948. When you get all these 40s cards, they are all lithographed. Now, what I don't think the light's going to catch is they're on these little tiny ones. There's a tiny little bit of like shiny stuff on them. So they reflect the light, but it's hard for this to show that. So we have that one, this one, which has little roses and congratulations. This is another older one, lithograph. This is the inside, but look at this corsage on the front. Isn't that lovely? Beautiful orchid. Here's another hallmark. Birthday with plenty of roses all over it. Fairfield one. I love this one. Look at that cherry blossom tree. Isn't that gorgeous? You get a great picture inside. And then this is the last one. Now, this one I find absolutely adorable. Now, that's the little picture on the back. And when you open it up, it has all these little blue birds of happiness that fold out. But this is the front. Isn't she adorable? That's so, so pretty. Hi, PC. So you get all 11 cards. And as I said, most of them are from the 40s. They're all florals. And the starting offer was $6, which for 1940s cards is quite the bargain. So, yes, PC, you have not seen me in ages because I had so much trouble with my back. There was a bit of a relapse, but seem to be much better shape now. And other than the ceiling caving in upstairs thing and still having all 5 kittens, things are doing better. If you want a good laugh at Chaos PC, go watch last week when I tried to do a live chat and do a live haul, and all 5 kittens just created chaos. So they literally, you know, that's why they're locked in their room tonight. They're locked in the playroom tonight, except Arwen, who's still asleep over there. She's just dozing. So, all right, I don't see anyone for the note cards, so we'll pass for the vintage cards. And I will hang on to those because there will, at some point, have to be a fully ephemera sale. Oh, Fiona, you would like them? Okay, we can do that. There were more in that drawer, but I didn't sort through all of them. There was a lot of baby ones, and I have to check those because I need some birth dates. So there were some that had, they were notice cards of when cousins were born, and I need those for the family tree. So I just pulled out some cool florals. So, Fiona, you're going to love those. So, now I have one thing that if anybody knows their glass, now these are not up for sale tonight, but if you know vintage glassware, barware kind of stuff, help me. I went through 2 of my books on glassware. I can't find out who made these. I have 4 shot glasses, but they all have, they look like that. Now, it's not, now Bartlett Collins did a lot of stripes. These are not wide enough. They don't match anything Bartlett Collins did. I have a book called The Decorated Tumbler. These are not in there. I went through another book that's on depression glass. They're not in there. I have 4 of these, but I can't figure out who made them. There's no L. There's no L on the bottom for Libby. I just found them today. So they'll be in a future sale. So, but yeah, if anybody out there knows their glassware, now they are not perfectly round. There's like little ridges, like little flat layers. I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, you can't really see it too well. But I can't figure out who made them, and I'd like to know who made them before I offer them up in a sale. But tonight was just a short little, only a few items, just to try to get back into the swing of things and get back onto a schedule of every other week doing a live sale and getting back into track, because I didn't want to have too many things, because I had gotten myself so backlogged with shipping, so I didn't want to have to add too much more of that. But and I don't see Nora Shea. I do not see an email from you, because I do still need your information to be able to sell you what you wanted. So yeah, I'm glad that I got to see you guys, because I have been gone for a while. I mean, I looked, and like my last live sale was back in July on the 14th, and then I ended up screwed the back up more, and had issues there, and then we were dealing with leaks upstairs and kitchen, and we still have the leak through the ceiling. The ceiling actually collapsed upstairs on that landing, and we're gonna see what we can do. I found out there's this thing called TaskRabbit, and you can hire people who are just going to do small projects for you, even if it's just something helping you move furniture because you want to rearrange a room, and carpentry, all kinds of stuff on there, big and little jobs, because we've not found anybody willing to come patch the roof, because I don't have any way to get a full roof done. But now that the ceiling came down, you can actually see where the leak is. Apparently the roofs don't meet. The 1911 part of the house comes down, so let's say it comes down this way. Now there's a dormer with a window, and right outside is this 36-inch square flat spot. Well, this part's fine, but over here is a spot where the 1935 roof comes down this way. Now keep in mind the 1911 one goes this way, but where it meets that flat spot, there's a gap of a ½ an inch where the wood doesn't meet. So the only thing that's there is that plastic sheeting layer that they put underneath the roofing shingles. So that plastic has gotten a hole in it. There's a big ½ inch gap there. So if the gap gets addressed, there shouldn't be a gap. It should meet up tight. And so what's happened is, over time, because this gap is there, the plastic has gotten holes in it, and that's why it's got such a bad leak. There's been a leak there my entire life. There's been a leak at that section of the house. No other spot. But there is now a new leak that's on my side, and I haven't been able to get anybody to come about the raccoon that's gotten into the eaves on the 3rd floor either. And that has to happen so soon. I don't really want to call the city of Chester for it, because they will euthanize wild animals. I really don't want to do that. But I may have an option. The nearest wild animal rescue service to me is way up north of Philly along the Schuylkill River. Way up there. I mean, they're over an hour away, and I'm going to see if they would be willing to come down and trap the raccoon, because every night it comes out of that 3rd floor eaves, goes across the roof, and it goes down the vines on the side of the house, the trumpet vine that's outside my son's window. So we know it's still up there. But we need them to come trap it and take it away before I have that. Wherever we also need somebody to tell us where the devil is it getting in, because obviously there's a hole somewhere big enough for it to get in. and then we'll get that patched as well. But there are 2 different guys on TaskRabbit that I found that are local that are willing to do those small jobs because everybody else wants to do an entire roof, and a roof's going to be expensive because there's a lot of peaks because the way the house was added on. There's actually 3 big peaks. The 1911 goes all the way across the front of the house. And then in 1935, they added out the back. So now there's a peak that comes this way. But they also added this back end of the living room. So there's a peak that comes down this way as well. And they all meet at that one little flat spot. So that's a challenge. Yeah, I have a lot to pack up for Fiona. So I just found one box tonight that I was like, wait a minute, this is Fiona's, and I didn't actually invoice her. The list is still on top of it. So don't worry, Fiona, you and I will get all stuff straightened out that's here. And I haven't shopped much either. If anything, I've shopped where I found little cute stuff like that for you guys. So, but I hope you guys enjoyed this. Like I said, this was going to be a short one. I thought it'd be just an hour, but as usual, I talk longer than that. And it was only a few things. 1 or 2 of them will go up onto my eBay store, and I want to get more of those postcards onto my eBay store tomorrow. But the first thing will be packing and shipping. So, but yeah, I have 52 postcards that are slated to go onto eBay because they're very specific, fun things. And so I only got 4 of them up so far. But I was supposed to be on this mini vacation. I technically wasn't supposed to be working anyway. But I figured, it would help me. It would make me feel better if I got at least something new added to the store, because on my backup, that store has gone a long time without having new stuff added to it. That doesn't help the algorithm. Oh, darling, you have a lot, but don't worry. It's all separate and not where the cats can drive me crazy with it. And I can hear little jingle bell collars, so I think they're getting fed up with being locked in their room. Yeah, they're going to have to get used to that, because I'm not going through that nightmare that last week was with them knocking over lights, trying to knock over the computer. I can't risk that during a live sale. That was just too much. In hindsight, it's really funny, but boy, at the time, man, they were testing my patience something fierce. So fingers crossed. I'm still hoping we at least get Arwen and Aragorn adopted out. But, had so many adoptions fall through, and I don't have many resources for that. I was hoping Forgotten Cats could have taken them, but we'll see. I did finally find a Facebook page near me that you can actually post animals that you're trying to rehome. So, no. I'm still just quick double checking my email for Nora's email to me. She'll get that sent to me. After all, it's easy to find me. Everything's This Overstuffed House. You'll find my eBay. If you Google me, you'll find my eBay, my Etsy. You will actually find a few videos on TikTok. I don't actually have that anymore. And I wasn't able to delete it because I can't remember the last password. So apparently it wasn't the usual password that I use for This Overstuffed House, but I can't get back into it to delete it. But you'll also find my Instagram, and that I do use. So you guys have a good night, and I will see you next week. Hopefully next week, because another reason it was a sale this week and not me doing another children's book for you, because we did the one Gilbert and Sullivan book and I sang for you. I have leaf mold allergies. So of course the first day we're there, it rained. So my voice is still kind of iffy and gunky. So I can't sing. So next week it should be better and I'll be able to sing, and we'll do, I think we did Pirates of Penzance the last time, and next week we'll do Yeoman of the Guard. And the beauty of it is that all the Gilbert and Sullivan stuff is copyright free because it's public domain. So I can sing some of it for you without having to worry about any copyright infringement stuff because it's all public domain. So you guys have a good week, and I'll see you next Thursday. Bye.